Page 306, Minuet in G major, a very famous melody. They say it's by Bach. Okay, if they want to say that, that's fine. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but they say it is. Okay. I'm not going to be spoon-feeding you the notes anymore. You should be able to read this music by now. You should know the names in the music itself. You know the names of the keys. You can get the rhythms, I hope. So I'm just going to point out certain things. Otherwise, these videos will last forever. And then you get bored, and I get bored, and everybody's bored. And blah. So I'm just going to point out a few things here, and you can do the rest. I go through the process I always go through to learn a piece of music. First, I look it over. I want to know about how long it is. I see it's 2 pages. Now, it's repeated, so it's actually 4 pages long, but that I only have 2 pages of music to deal with, and it looks like there's probably a lot of repetition in here anyway, so it's not quite that much music to learn. There's treble and bass clef, at least to start, and I glanced through it. Does it change anywhere? I don't see it changing, so okay. 1 sharp in the key shape. Well, it says it's in G major. It kind of tells us that, doesn't it? So I'm going to do the scales and arpeggios for G major and E minor, at least 2 octaves up and down, and 3/4 time signature. Frankly, on the scales and arpeggios, it probably wouldn't hurt you if you know them by now, and I hope you do. Start doing the 4 octave ones, the full thing that I have in the videos. Those will help you out a lot, and you get the contrary motion in that too. I explain it in detail in the C major video, scale video of the pattern and so forth, so follow that. 3/4 time signature, but it makes sense, it's a minuet. First thing I do is I make sure that I can play it 1 hand at a time okay, and I'm going to try and connect the notes with the fingers. Here with just a broken chord. Okay, but going from measure 4 to 5, here, then went here. That's a stretch. Therefore, since there's 2 E's in measure 5, I could go here, either 5 or 4, and then a 3. I can change that way. And on measure 8, I don't want to end on a thumb, because on measure 9, I need the thumb for that. So I need a different finger there. On measure 7, it's here. I just reached out with 2 and then on 2. This way, the thumb's ready to go on. Okay. In measure 13, it's here. Scrunch up, a triplet. That's fine. Now when you repeat, it's a G again, so that's a repeated note, that's fine. And if you go on, it's a G again, it's a repeated note, but you go on the 3rd finger. And going from measure 18 to 19 here, if you can't reach that, you're gonna have to lift up and move. Sorry, it's the way it is. Okay, now take a look at measure 25, or here, and then it's a 4 for the 8th note, so measure 26, and then 4 again. It's like a sequence going down, and we're just starting each of these 8th note patterns with 4th finger. That's good. It'd be nice to start the first one with 4th finger too in measure 25, just so every one is the same. You can do that if you want to. Going from measure 30 to 31, here, this is a stretch, but hopefully you can do that, because if you go an octave, that's right there. So hopefully you can reach that. If you have real little hands and you can't, you'll have to move up. You'll have to lift up and move. But if you can, connect. And I like this business in measure 31 of using the awkward fingers. We need that. We need more of that, because the more you do it, the less awkward they get. Eventually. Over many long time, years, whatever. Going on, it's back like it was at the beginning of measure 33. Left hand, let's see what it's doing. Again, I want to connect it. And measure 2, that's a broken chord, and that is the fingering. It's the 4th finger. And you can go ahead and just leave there and stay there. Measure 17. Cross over. Good. We're connecting with the fingers, and I like that. So, yeah. But measure 20, I do 4th finger on the D sharp, because that's a B major triad, and that's the fingering I use. Because this is a 3rd, an interval interval of a third. And again, when I have an interval of a third or less, and little finger, and then fourth finger gets the next one, unless I need that fourth finger for some other note coming up. I don't, so it's 4. So once I have an idea of the fingering and I worked it out and I penciled in the fingering changes I want, and then I will try and put it together. And I'll go really, really slow and I'll hesitate. I don't care. I just want to know how this and then here. So I go through the whole thing and I work it out that way. And then I go, this is what takes the time. I go back and work out the hesitations. It's easy to say, harder to do. So in something like this, it's in sections. Page 306 is a section, page 307 is a section. How do I know that? Well, because I'm familiar with the piece. But on the other hand, you can look at the music and you'll see one melody here, and in next page is that. It's a different melody. It's slightly, well, it's a different section. Now that doesn't mean if you have a different melody, you have to have a different section, but in a lot of cases, you'll find that's true. When you get to a different melody like that, it'll be a different section. Because in page 307, a measure 33 or so, they go back to like section A, to the same theme. Okay. I won't get into the analysis of that right now. You can have fun with that or whatever. But I want to break it up into pieces while I'm tackling these hesitations. I don't want to keep trying to do the whole thing all the time. That's really a mistake. So I was like, I would take the first section and maybe I'll break the first section up. Maybe I'll just take like the first two measures because those happen a lot. And I try to get that, no hesitations. Then once I have it, put it aside. Then go to like measure 5. It's different. Get that out of the way, and then go down to the third line is the same as the first, so we'll skip the third line because we've already done that. Then the last line, do that one. This is on page 306. Here. And I'll get that, no hesitations. Then maybe I'll go back and put the whole first section together. Can I play the whole first section with no hesitations? If I can't, I'll stop and work out the spots where I'm hesitating, get rid of them. But don't keep playing the whole thing start to finish every time. Waste time doing that. Now once I have the section A done, where I can play it with no hesitations, I put it aside. I'm not going to play it again now. I'm going to focus on page 307. I'm going to go through the same routine on page 307, just maybe a couple measures or so at a time until I get the whole section done. And when I can play it, no hesitations, then I'll get it all back in. I'll bring the first section back in and we do the whole thing. You'll still be able to play the first section. No hesitations. If you get hesitations, and they will come back, and new ones will creep up, you got to stop and work them out. Don't let them stick around. Don't go to the mindset that, well, I'll fix it later. No, there is no later. You got to fix it right now, because if you don't fix it now, you keep making that mistake. You're actually practicing the mistake, and it becomes part of your plan. So get rid of it. Then once I can do it slowly, no hesitations. Now we don't. Speed comes later. Slow right now. Whatever your speed is, the whole thing, one speed. Then I add the articulation, mainly slurs here. They don't give anything. There is a style in this type of music where if the notes are far apart like that, you can't separate them. People wouldn't. They would just connect them. Which you do, you try them both out which you like. It's interpretation. You do whatever your teacher's telling you to do, because some teachers are really, no, you do it this way, and that's fine. Just go with it while you study under them. So I put in the articulation throughout, and then I add the dynamics. This is Mostly the right hand. This left hand, I'd keep it down under the, keep it under it. I want to hear the right hand. Now when you get to page 17, this is soft in here. The left hand's very soft. And then here. And then I measure 21 and 22, and you start getting louder. You're not going to get much louder. You're only going to go up to about a moderately soft here at first. So the measure 21 is soft. Then go up to a little bit to moderately soft. Then go up a little more. Now you're at moderately loud. In the right hand. Then come down. Now soft. Measure 30 is still soft, and then you start getting a little louder. And then measure 32. Really a lot of your crescendos in there. Then you're back up to loud again. Yeah, whatever. It's better to get into it where you get past these mechanics and you start feeling the music and you'll start feeling these dynamics. I don't know that Bach himself put in these dynamics because they didn't do that at this time period. You were expected to know it. So a lot of times when you have a passage twice, like at the beginning, that's happening twice. Well, a lot of times, the second time, they'd play that soft, like an echo. As just a matter of interpreting the music, they would do that. Now, whoever edited this didn't put in that kind of indication, but in my opinion, you could. I would not play page 306 loud all the way through. You need some some ups and downs and some swells. You got to figure it out. For instance, here, the beginning, go up to here. I could give it an illusion of motion by putting just every little bit crescendo in there. And then echo it. I'd still crescendo. Ba-da-da. You experiment with the dynamics and how it feels and try different dynamics out and swells here and there and see what you think. Measure 17. We want that to flow. It's not just note, 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 note. So maybe the first measure flows to the second. And here, you can put in little swells in these things, just a very little bit. If you feel it, put it in. If you don't feel it, then maybe you're not into the music yet, because you should be feeling something, in my opinion, when you play this stuff. Otherwise, just give it to a computer. And then the speed. Animato is animated or quick. It needs to be accurate. I think about where I've been going is fine. This is a minuet. You can picture people dancing to this. Well, you're not going to go 1, 2, 3. Come on, keep up. Shake it, shake it, shake it. It's a minuet, a nice, sweet, hoity-toity type waltz, sort of. They have a writ second time on that. Again, if you are going to retard, only do it on the second time that after you've repeated. Don't do it the first time because it needs to flow until the end. And it was standard back in this time where you would normally retard at the end of a piece. They wouldn't put in a retard in the music. You were just expected to do it. However, in my opinion, if there are people dancing to this, I don't know if I'd retard much because you can't be changing the tempo much while they're moving. You mess them up. Maybe you retard very little, just a little bit, to let them know that you're about done. You're not going to repeat it again or something. Because if you wanted to extend this out to last longer, you just repeat these sections again, or maybe play the whole thing again, or you just keep going. Give me the natural accents. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They're important. Feel them all the way through this. Let's play this together slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do dynamics. I'll give us 3 counts, and we are going to do the repeats. So here we go. 1 and ready and go and. repeat.